London is only a 6-hour flight away, and what's better than 24 hours is 48 hours for the perfect weekend trip. So I just landed in London's Heathrow Airport, and I ordered my new passport a few years ago, and I got the extra pages. So obviously I want my stamps. A lot of airports are starting to do that where they're just doing electronic. Like you have to go to the kiosk rather than getting stamps or whatever. Usually you can get around this though by going to the assistance lane so that you're able to speak to a border patrol person and get your passport stamped. I've done this at a lot of other airports. I did this at Finland. It always works usually. They specifically said they don't stamp US passports. So even though I was speaking to a person, I couldn't get a stamp. My name's Erin and I'm a travel photographer and content creator based in New York City. Welcome back to my channel. To make the most of my 2 days, I wanted a base that was central and easy to explore from, so I chose Westminster. This neighborhood is home to Big Ben, Parliament, and the Thames, among others of the city's biggest landmarks. Tucked into those historic streets is where I stayed, the Great Scotland Yard Hotel. From the moment I walked in, it felt less like a typical hotel and more like stepping into old London with a modern twist. You'll never believe that I stayed at a $1,000 per night luxury hotel in London for free. It sounds impossible, but I used points to book 2 nights at the Great Scotland Yard Hotel, part of Hyatt's Unbound collection. Just checked into my hotel, Great Scotland Yard Hotel. It is a historic luxury hotel. Unfortunately, my room is not ready yet. I'm checking in a little early. I always do that. I always try to see if I can get in the room a few hours early. It usually works, but here it didn't. So I left my bag with them though, and I'm gonna go and find some breakfast. Since I had to wait, I killed time walking around the area and eating my first meal. Very first meal in London, I just went to a cafe that had outdoor seating somewhere. I got a pain au chocolat. I forgot what it's called. You know what it is. It's not a croissant. And then a cappuccino. Kind of pricey, but I just need something in my system. I do feel the jet lag. After a couple hours, I got the text my room was ready and then went to check in. The real question though is, did Great Scotland Yard Hotel actually feel like a $1,000 per night experience, or did I just find a loophole into a very average stay? Let me take you inside. The mission was simple. Find a luxury hotel in London that didn't feel like a generic business stay. London prices can crush your budget, and I wasn't about to spend thousands of dollars for a 2-night trip. Typically, when I travel, I collaborate with hotels and offer them my photography and content creation services, but after multiple rejections citing it was still busy season, I had to pivot. Initially, the Great Scotland Yard Hotel wasn't available during my trip dates, but availability did open up at the last minute, and I snatched it right up. At 25,000 points per night on Hyatt, I used 50,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points and locked in my stay. If you're gonna get into travel hacking, know that not all points are created equal. But if you have a Chase Sapphire card, like the Preferred or Reserve, it transfers directly to Hyatt, which is one of the best value redemptions out there. I was surprised this was only a Category 6 hotel for Hyatt, but I'm just happy I nabbed the deal. What I didn't know yet though was whether the room, the service, or the history of this place would live up to its reputation. When I first walked into the room, I immediately noticed how compact it was. However, then I caught the details. Herringbone wood floors, rich textures, and a bathroom tiled in turquoise brick with the cutest turquoise vintage style radiator. Checked in and freshened up, got to come into the room like an hour early. It's kind of small, but it's really nice and historic, so I'll do a full tour in here. One design choice stood out to me the most. The toilet and shower are in separate spaces. This setup probably works better for couples, but for me as a solo traveler, it was a smidge inconvenient. It reminded me of a suite I stayed at while visiting Bonaire. I know Japanese homes also have setups like this as well for hygiene reasons. The soap was communal, which I've grown to not be a fan of because of horror stories I've heard, but it smelled like pomelo heaven, reminding me of when I traveled to Malaysia. The pillows were the perfect firmness, and what really stood out were the bed sheets, which were the tightest and least wrinkled I've ever seen. I even asked the housekeeper how she did it so that I can make my bed similarly. The toilet also has a Toto bidet, a standard I've grown accustomed to at luxury hotels, and it kept my tushy warm whenever I sat down. These little comforts add up fast. The real charm of the Great Scotland Yard Hotel is its story. This building once served as a headquarters of London Metropolitan Police. Today, it's a hotel where guests sip cocktails in the bar and unwind in rooms steeped in history. So what's the verdict? Even though the rooms are small, the service, location, and design details made this stay worth it. Knowing I didn't have to shell out thousands of dollars made it even sweeter. If I paid cash, the room would have been about $560 per night, and that's the real win. So, would you ever use your Chase points to stay here, or would you save them for another trip? Drop a comment, I want to hear your take. With a base like this to recharge, I was ready to dive into the city, and the first stop was only a short walk away. London moves fast, and for visitors like myself, there are a few things worth knowing. The city is cashless, which is convenient, so you don't have to lose extra money exchanging currency. If you have travel credit cards, you can rack up points easily while avoiding foreign transaction fees. Streets are bike friendly. While I was there was a rail strike that had everyone on 2 wheels, making the streets busier than usual. I didn't realize London is such a bike friendly city, but that makes sense. So pedestrians, bikers, and people driving cars basically live in harmony. It's quite a departure from New York City, but it does remind me of Copenhagen, which is very bike friendly. Westminster is so walkable that within minutes I was face to face with the London Eye, Big Ben, and the Houses of Parliament. The streets were buzzing with tourists, but walking solo worked in my favor. I slipped through crowds faster, stopped for photos without anyone waiting on me, and set my own pace. As the sun set, I realized Buckingham Palace wasn't that far off, but after walking thousands of steps already and jet lag setting in, I headed off to find some dinner. I stumbled upon an Uzbek restaurant, totally random, but that's the perk of solo travel. You follow your curiosity and see where it leads. London gets a bad rap for its food, but this meal was delicious and flavorful, and it reminded me of why I love traveling solo. Sometimes the unplanned stops are the best ones. That being said, this doesn't count as British food, so that's probably why. Trying Uzbek food for the first time, I randomly stumbled upon this place as I was walking around. This is a turmeric latte. Interesting. These are dumplings. I don't have chopsticks. Oh. And these are puff pastries. This is beef pumpkin. I'm just gonna eat it as is. I'm supposed to dip it. It is day 2, my only full day here in London. Kind of got a late start, so I'm essentially starting the same time as when I landed in London yesterday. Usually I wake up to photograph sunrise, and I probably would have gotten it with the eye and the sun coming up behind it, but I was just too tired and jet lagged. So there's always next time. There's a lot of deals flying into London all the time, so probably could just do that. Now though, starting the day, been hydrating too, because I don't have anywhere to carry a bag with me. Usually I carry a bag, but because I'll be transiting to another part of Europe, which you'll see, I can't bring a typical bag that I usually would. So I'm definitely gonna have to redo London, just because I want to be able to do it without worrying about bag weight and stuff like that. For breakfast though, I'm walking over to Borough Market. It is about 1.5 miles walk from the hotel I'm staying at, so it'll be a nice way to get the metabolism going and to eat, because I heard Borough Market's supposed to be like crazy fun. There's so many vendors and I'm ready. My second day was the one full day, and I wanted to make it count. The smells hit you before you even walk in, and it's actually a little overwhelming with how many vendor stalls there are. Made it to Borough Market. It just opened I'm late. It opened an hour ago, but it's already bustling with people everywhere. I was hoping to get here right at opening, but this is like a Western version of all the Asian kind of market. It's really cool. You just have vendors everywhere. I'm gonna do a loop around to see everything before I decide what I want to eat. I came across lobster paella, mushroom risotto, spices, coffee, and sweets everywhere. When I travel, I have a rule. If you can find the food at home, don't get it abroad. So I skipped the viral strawberry chocolate cups and went for the British meat pie. I ended up getting this pie from Pie Minister, and it's an extra pound to warm it up. Apparently you're supposed to eat it cold. Never heard of eating cold pie, but that's the thing. Didn't want to pay an extra pound for just to warm it up. So pretty good though, but it does taste weird or the texture's weird because everything's cold. Was I being gaslit into eating a cold pie? Either way, I tried it cold. Lastly, I came across a fudge stall and couldn't resist, so I tried the smooth chocolate and the mint chocolate. I don't know why, but the mint tasted more like chocolate than the smooth one did. But honestly, nothing has topped the fudge I had in Savannah, Georgia, so my search continues. Now, Borough Market is beautiful, but it's also packed, and London has a reputation for petty theft. Before I even left for the trip, I prepped for this. Traveling solo means you can't rely on anyone else to watch your back, so you have to be extra aware. Also, get yourself one of these. It's for your phone. There's a lot of instances of petty theft happening in London, and better be safe than sorry because they just snatch it out of your hand. I usually use this for when I go on heli flights, but this is coming in clutch for being connected at all times. I do feel naked though, only having a fanny pack. I can't bring my water bottle with me, so I've been buying waters or whatever, or asking for waters when I'm eating out. But let me go over everything that I carry in my fanny pack. Obviously, passport, wallet, a birdie. This is an alarm, a safety alarm for if anything happens. I just got this and I hope to never use this. My headphones, a pen, SPF, hand sanitizer, chapstick, tissues. I always need tissues, earplugs, eye mask. I don't usually travel with these. An iPod that I probably won't use, but I brought it just in case I need it for music. And then to keep the passport safe in some sandwich bags. So that's everything. Right outside Borough Market, you've got the Shard and London Bridge. Okay, let's go. I passed by both on my way back before heading to Chelsea. On the way over, I walked through Buckingham Palace's mall, so that can finally be checked off the list. I'm on my basic B train. I'm gonna go check out Buckingham Palace. I'm just walking by it to see the exterior. As someone who didn't plan anything for my trip, that happens a lot these days. I don't really plan. I just show up and see what's around. And I think when you go to a destination, you should always check out their institutions. However you feel about the royal family is whatever. Like, I'm indifferent towards them because as an American, whatever. Don't glorify them or anything like that. But I want to go see the architecture. Chelsea had a totally different vibe. It was sleek and stylish. I grabbed a drink with a friend who lives in the area before walking over to Harrods. Since it was a Sunday, it was closed, so I only got to take in the sheer size of its exterior. It really does live up to the hype. As the day started to wind down, I made my way through Hyde Park during golden hour. If you're familiar with New York City, it's similar to Prospect Park in Brooklyn. There's even a marble arch, but it's no match for Grand Army Plaza. Sorry. Everyone says you can't leave London without fish and chips, so my friend recommended that I go eat at the Mayfair Chippy. They've had a 1 AA Rosette rating from Michelin Guide since 2015 and were this year's Good Food Award for Fish and Chips Blue Ribbon. Naturally, when I arrived, there was a line out the door. Now, I don't do lines, and spending half the night waiting is never an option for me. So here's the hack I use to skip the line. Traveling solo is legit the cheat code to getting into hard-to-access places. So my British friend recommended me to this famous fish and chip spot, the Mayfair Chippy. There was a line outside. I waited less than 3 minutes, literally, and I was sat right away. Even though it's at the bar, who cares? I got my food first. Whenever traveling solo, go to these restaurants with long wait times. You'll get in instantly. I went classic, authentic fish and chips. But the one con traveling solo is there's no one to share my food with. I'm a big leftovers person, and I couldn't finish the fries. Maybe I should just get the main entree and skip the sides from now on. So that was my weekend in London. Getting one last walking from my hotel I checked out to the Gatwick Express. I would have taken the tube, but there is a rail strike going on, so I wasn't sure what the situation was. So it's safer to just get on the Gatwick Express. It's about a 35-minute walk. It's past Buckingham Palace, so that's where we're going. It's so beautiful outside. Traveling solo meant I got to follow my curiosity, skip the lines, and notice the little things I might have otherwise missed. If you're planning a quick trip to London, steal this itinerary, and if you're traveling solo, remember, curiosity is your best guide, but awareness is your best protection. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video where I take you on an epic adventure.